Hey everyone, hey for lifers, this is Paik4Life coming at you with an end of the week review because I can't break my streak and I totally thought I had already done one this week, but I didn't. So I need to make sure that I keep the streak alive. And I've been meaning to review this figure. This is Hasbro's Studio Series Hot Rod. This is number 93. I think they're over 100 something now. I think they're in like 106 or something like at this point. But yeah, so let's get into the review. Hey John, how's it going? The packaging is pretty standard stuff. Again, reducing the plastic, everything like that. You do get a nice big image of Hot Rod. I really like this design. It's too bad we didn't get too much screen time with him in the last night. I mean, hey Matt, how's it going? On the side, you get a picture of his face, nice close up of his face sculpt. Same thing on this side. And then on the back, you do get some of the information. You get to see both modes, his gun, his display stand, backdrop, whatever you will call it. And you can see that he is officially licensed by Lamborghini. 26 steps. So let's get into it. So yeah, I was pretty excited about this because I remember the last deluxe figure that we had from him from a long time ago. I don't remember what line it was in, but I remember it did not look like him at all. So I really like the DX9 Lahire, which I'll show off in a little bit. So I wanted to see how well they did in a first party figure, mainline figure with Hot Rod. So as with the Studio Series, they do have these backdrops, which are pretty cool. I mean, I don't know that anybody uses these, but it's kind of cool that they have it, making use of the packaging. It's kind of weird that they have like a double of this because they use these back cardboard pieces to secure the figure now. And he only comes with one accessory, which is this little pew pew gun. It does have some nice blue details here, just a standard peg, and it has a tab on the side here for alt mode usage. Let's get rid of this section. We do get a set of instructions. This is a little bit of a weird transformation. It has some parts that are a little kind of hard to understand from these directions. And some of the things, I don't know if I'm doing it wrong, but there seems to be a lot of clearance issues. Not a lot, but a decent amount of clearance issues. So here he is. He comes in robot mode. Let me scooch down just a little bit. And you can see he does look much closer to the design of the movie, especially with the chest area. They got that more accurate. The only thing that looks kind of terrible on him are the whole bunch of arm kibble, and this is actually the wheel is supposed to kind of be up here, but if you flip this out, it just looks way long. So I don't know. I guess you could do that. And then the other section is kind of these wings here, or the doors. They kind of mess up the sculpt a little bit, but it's not terrible, especially for a mainline figure. He does look quite good in the overall silhouette. It's just that the arms in particular, they do have some a decent amount of paint. They have like some silver and black paint up here. The orange obviously is what is the biggest color palette in the detail that we're going to see here. You got some nice blue eyes, orange on the face, some silver and so forth. But yeah, overall, I think they did a decent job, much better than they did with the last one, which isn't saying a lot, to be perfectly honest. But again, it's main line, so we're holding a low bar here. I do want to show him off with Lahir. This is the only other hot rod because I had the other one, the deluxe one, but it was terrible, so I got rid of that right away. Basically, I don't even think I reviewed it. But yeah, you can see kind of how he's supposed to look, and like again, DX9 did a really good job with this figure. They really matched pretty much everything that you would want, with the wings kind of coming back like this. They were angled kind of out like that. The one thing I wasn't really sure about was the gun. So the gun is a little bit different. I have to look it up, but it looks kind of similar. But then I noticed mine originally came out of the packaging with this piece kind of like loose, and I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't know if there's nothing in the instructions about it. I don't know if it's supposed to come off, but without it, it looks much more accurate. So maybe, or at least accurate to what Lahir had. Again, I didn't go back and look at the movie, but so I guess you have some display options there with that. Otherwise, you can just jam it in. But yeah, obviously we're not gonna do a fair comparison if we do it with a third-party masterpiece scale figure. What else do we have? What other Studio Series figures do we have? I got another deluxe here. Not Studio Series, but we do have a deluxe. Your gun was in 2 pieces? Okay, yeah. So, yeah, that's one thing I will say about this figure, that it's not the best tolerance. There's something. My angle here is kind of weird today. Here, let me scooch down a little bit. The pieces on mine keep falling off. Who else do I have? I guess Optimus, even though it's not from the Studio Series, and he's a Voyager, but you kind of get an idea. So he does feel very tiny, and again, that's the ever shrinking main line. There's nothing we can really do about that except complain every video like I do. You can hold the gun as you would expect, and that's really it. We'll go through articulation. His head is on a ball peg, so he does, but you don't really get any of the wobble that you normally would get. You just really get the rotation, which is kind of interesting. I don't know why it's so limiting in the socket there. His shoulders are on a hinge on the inside, which help for transformation, as well as a ball peg there that can go around, can go out. Mushroom peg bicep swivel, single jointed elbow that gets a little bit about basic 90 degrees. His wrist is on a swivel, and as with most mainline figures, especially at this scale, no articulation in the hands. Coming to his waist or chest, there's no ab crunch, which I wouldn't expect. He does have a waist swivel, which you'll need for transformation. Coming down to the hips are the place that I have the most complaints. My hips come out like really easily, like they fall off very, very easily. Like when doing stuff that I'm not even intentionally putting pressure on, like when I rotate the hips for transformation. And then also you need to rotate thighs for transformation, and they often, especially I think this one, comes off quite easily. So that's pretty annoying. He does have a knee bend, but it immediately has some clearance issues with the details on the wheel. You can kind of just force it open a bit, and then you can get about 90 degrees. And then the other section here that tends to fall off on mine is this part of the heel. So you kind of have this weird heel spur if you want to use it. You don't really need it. He has big enough heels, but this part here on the back of the car, which will come back of the car, falls off on mine quite a bit. His ankle, he has a hidden joint here, which is really for transformation. I guess you can make use of it, so you can pop it forward or actually pop it back. But it's kind of a duplicative of this joint here, which is the visible one, which I think is what you're supposed to intend to use. But this one doesn't let you go back. So, or does it? No, yeah, it doesn't let you go back. So, again, you can use of that as you'd like, and then a ball peg on as for the ankle, which is nice. It does actually have a good range as far as the ankle goes. All right, so I think that's it for articulation. Did I miss anything? I usually do, but you guys know you're not here for articulation, at least not from me. The only other complaint here on this is that this backpack, they have a couple tabs here that are supposed to go into these locks, but they don't reach far enough. So I don't know why they don't really reach far enough. So it's more kind of a positional thing than it is a locking tab. But yeah, the robot mode, I think, again, it looks better. I mean, if you pop this pin out, or I don't even know if it's a pin. If you just pop this out in robot mode, this joint, I think it would look a lot better. So if you don't care about the transformation, I would recommend doing that, getting rid of it there, and it would look way closer to the actual screen version. All right, so transformation is kind of weird on this guy. But there are a couple places that I do like what they did. So the instructions kind of tell you to go with the backpack and the arms first. I think the legs are a little bit easier to start with. So let's start there. We're going to rotate 90 degrees inward on the thigh. We're going to flip this wheel around to the back 90 degrees. And then this is where it got a little confusing for me because I didn't realize that top ankle joint existed. It's not really that clear. But fold out the heel, which is the spoiler, and this section becomes the back of the vehicle mode. And then you want to push forward on that hidden kind of joint here. and you want to bring that all the way forward, and you want to get this gray piece actually inside the cavity that was just opened up by this piece here. So you want to get it in like that, and that will allow you to rotate on that ball peg around, and that kind of sets in underneath there, and that's 1/2 of the vehicle mode rear. So same thing on the other side. We're gonna rotate here. Hey, Freakenstein. Oh, I also asked because like this vehicle mode is probably the selling point of this. And in the poll, the live poll that I'm doing right now, I wanted to ask: do a lot of folks buy Transformers figures specifically for their alt mode? I mean, I think like the alternators line and stuff like that. People are really into that. Maybe even the masterpiece line. So I was wondering, have you guys bought figures that you just intend to display in alt mode instead of the robot mode? Maybe the robot mode's weak, but let me know in the poll. All right, so going back to the review transformation, we're going to close this up. We're going to pull out the spoiler, pull out the rear piece here, and then we're going to push in on this joint, get it all the way up, get the gray piece tucked into the foot, and then rotate like so. All right, and from here, we can just tab in the two sides to do the two halves, the tab here, and this kind of, almost kind of like an over-under tab here. You can just jam it in, but it looks kind of like it's supposed to be intended for you over and under. But you do that, and just straighten out this section here. Get the spoiler like so. And that's it for the lower half, basically. You do want to rotate 180 at the waist, but this is another area where I said there's kind of weird clearance issues. I don't know how you're supposed to rotate it without, like, forcing this through this clearance. Freakenstein says, I don't really like buying Hasbro, but I do it for my channel. I'm trying to get a few people to go live and discuss the quality of Hasbro and the prices. Oh, that sounds good. If you want to invite me, I'll join. I'm always happy to support other community folks. Hey, Princeton, how's it going? Sorry, let me say something. Hi. Anyone going to TFCon Toronto? I'm not. Hey, Robot Show Tunes. And then Tyler TNT. If this thing's hips were better, he would be pretty awesome figure. Yeah, right? Yeah, I agree. All right, so let's get back to the transformation here. We're going to deal with let's deal with the backpack first. While we're here, we can deal with the doors as well. Just flip these pieces out. But what you want to do is kind of get these down. And they kind of tell you to do all this kind of weird stuff where, like, you tuck it back and you pull these pieces out. All I do is basically rotate around. And then when I get to around here, I just unfold these pieces. Rotate that all the way around now. And then you have to press to collapse it here to get a smooth top of the vehicle. This section you can do now or do later. You basically just need to get the doors. They are kind of like, whatever they're called, the suicide doors. That's not suicide doors. What are those things called? Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. The classic Lamborghini doors. But then these can come in underneath. It kind of has to come in underneath this detail here, which is why it's kind of weird. Like that. But you can also do it a little bit later because you're going to have to tab some places in. So give me a second here. I forgot to turn off my notifications, so I'm blowing up right now. So that's what you want to do. That's how it looks. If you want to do that a little bit later, you can. Oh, sorry, and I forgot you're supposed to tuck this in and tab that in. Sorry about that. Getting distracted with all these messages. All right, coming to the upper body, you essentially want to first spread his chest out like that. And then you want to pull up on the abdomen, this whole abdomen section right there. This section you'll pull out, and it has these two flaps that you want to bring out. This will form the majority of the hood. Oh, crap. And I forgot you have to rotate the head around. You can do that really at any point, I guess. But then you would just want to push this all the way up and around. Get this around and down to complete the hood section. Again, there's a little bit of clearance issues. Just got to force your way through that to get it kind of locked in. And then we'll deal with the arms. The arms you do want to be mindful of. You need to have it positioned in a certain way. So you kind of want to have the arms up like this, like at an angle like this when you put it in. So when you rotate these in at the shoulders, it should not be kind of straight. It should be the shoulder angled downward and then the elbow joint rotated back. And then there are 3 tabs that you're going to work with here. You have one little peg that's going to go into this joint here, this little tab, and then this kind of 3 over and under section here. So just be mindful of that. Kind of get all those aligned. And these tabs are actually quite sturdy. Like so. And then you can rotate this around. This also has a small peg right there, and it also has to go underneath with this tab. So, and as well as this one. So again, a lot of tabbing that really helps the alt modes feel way more solid than I'm used to expecting from the mainline figures. And that's why I think that they focused more on the alt mode for this, and probably is a bigger selling point for a lot of folks than the actual toy itself. All right, so same thing on this side, just peg this all in everywhere. Come on. Get that done. Rotate this around. And with that, we should have him in alt mode, which looks really good. This alt mode is quite nice. I do actually think, I don't remember if he actually did have the spoiler in the movie or not. I think the previous figure didn't have the spoiler. I'm an 80s kid, grew up loving the Countach and Diablo. So I really like this design. I always think Lamborghinis look way better with the spoiler. So make sure, I like the fact that they, added that. So when you get your Lamborghini in real life, make sure you get a spoiler added, okay? Let me know how that goes. The alt mode gun will have that tab that I mentioned before. It can go into either of these mushroom slots here. Mushroom peg slots, not mushroom slots. So you can go this way or this way. It doesn't really matter. But it does look quite good. So as I was saying in the title, you should really probably get this guy if you enjoy the alt modes. This is a really selling point. The wheels do roll, although they don't roll all that great. It looks good. Nice, again, orange details along these kind of like highlighted edge pieces. Does have that really classic kind of aggressive look to the front end. And again, with this figure, you can actually make use of like those doors, whatever those things are called, gull-wing doors, or not suicide doors, switchblade doors. But again, to do that, you need to untab these sections, the 1, 2, 3 tabs here, and then get it out. It does look a little weird because it has not just the door section here, but also this kind of side panel. But you can get it to sort of look like you're actually using the doors. So that's kind of a cool feature. If this was, I guess you can tuck this in to kind of make it look a little bit more like the real doors. Somebody's probably correcting me on how these doors are called. Hey, Deluxe, how's it going? People, don't forget to like this live video if you're watching. Thanks, I appreciate it. Hey, Willito Prime. Depends on the display. Bot mode takes precedence, but I think that's why some collectors buy 2 of the same figures. Combiners, yeah, combiners definitely make the hobby more expensive. Hey, Junkie and Crafts, aka Mike Rogers. Freaking says I'll send you a Facebook link when I'm getting people ready to ready for the live discussion about Hasbro. Oh, it's on Facebook. All right, cool. Gull-wing doors. Okay, thank you. All right, cool. But yeah, a nice vehicle mode. It is, again, pretty tiny. Do I have anything to compare it with? I don't have any like mainline figures that are in alt mode, but as usual, we got Streak. That's Masterpiece, and we got Bumblebee. He's kind of like the secondary measurement tool that I have. Do I have any other figures in alt mode? I do not, unfortunately. But yeah, so this figure itself, I think, is pretty solid. I don't know if I give it a strong recommend, but again, if you do that thing with the arms, it might be a good display piece for even robot mode. So let's get this guy transformed back. So again, take off the gun if you have it. We're going to go ahead and deal with the door. So let's just pull down, pull out on this section, get this around, pull down on this. We can just get ahead and move the doors out of the way with the shoulder joint. We'll do the same thing on this side. Get this front wheel untabbed and around, pull this down, get the shoulders out of the way. We can start kind of untabbing stuff here, untab this back section just to loosen up basically everything, and then we'll deal with the front here. So the front, we're going to go ahead and pull down on this. This needs to kind of rotate at the same time you pull this down. These flaps will fold in. This is also another section that is was kind of weird. I wasn't sure if I was doing right. You basically just kind of have to jam it underneath his armpits here when you push down on this. And then you're gonna close up the chest. Like, come on. You should be closing it more than that. Close, damn you. Whatever. All right. So, oh, it's because this section's not all the way in. Why isn't it going all the way in? Yeah, so see, that's what I was saying. I don't know what I keep doing wrong. It looks like it should be going in just fine, but it keeps wanting to come back out. Are the shoulder joints getting in the way, maybe? Maybe that's it. Oh, okay, yeah, it was the shoulders. But make sure to go ahead and close these chest pieces up so the gap's smaller. Get the head rotated around. Now you can get the shoulders back up. These door pieces, you can just fold these in, and then you kind of want to get them a little bit forward so that you can, again, extend this telescoping piece on the top of the car, rotate it around. This is when I flip these in, get it in like so. And again, there's these kind of holding tabs, not actually tabbing tabs for the windshield. And this just kind of sits in place. There's nothing that locks it here. Although, I wonder if you can kind of get this in. I was going to see if you can kind of get this in like this to make it a little bit more of a locking, but then you kind of make it look a little fugly. So we won't do that. I won't recommend that. All right, now we'll just deal with the lower body. We, again, have to rotate at the waist, and mine just keeps running into this joint here. So I don't know what's going on with mine, or if I'm doing something wrong, if I need to collapse it forward a bit or something. But this whole piece, oh, maybe that's why they tell you to. Anyway, we're just going to keep going. It's not a big deal. Untab both halves of the leg. Rotate that thigh. We're going to rotate the foot inward and then extend it down. While you do that, while you have it open and expanded, removing this joint piece here, you want to fold up the rear of the vehicle as well as the spoiler, and then get everything straightened out. Make sure to lock in this upper ankle joint. There's kind of a locking tab up there that loosely keeps it from flopping all the way around. Same thing on this side. Rotate that. Rotate this. Bring it all down and extend that. We're going to close this up, flip this around, get the lower gray ankle joint straightened. And then the last piece is you want to get the wheels rotated out to be more screen accurate. You can actually have it folded closed. That actually doesn't look terrible either. But if you want to have the wheels looking like they're supposed to in the movie, then you'll do that. And with that, we have, hey, Ridiculous, how's it going? We have Hot Rod in his robot mode again. So yeah, final thoughts are, I would get this guy if you're a big fan of Lamborghinis and the alt mode. The robot mode does look better, but it is pretty tiny, and the arm things are the things that bother me. I haven't looked into it, but I think you should just be able to. It doesn't look like there's an actual pin here. You might just be able to pull this out, and if you can really easily pull this out, I think I would recommend it. Yeah, I don't want to break this figure, but I kind of want to try it. Yeah, I can't tell if there's an actual pin in there. It doesn't look like it, but yeah, it'd be nice if I could just pop this whole section out, and then he would look a lot better in robot mode. But yeah, overall, not a terrible figure. I don't give it a strong recommend. But for the Studio Series line, he does look quite good. And again, a way bigger upgrade from robot mode than the previous one. I do think, if I remember correctly, I like the alt mode from the previous deluxe better. And that one was much bigger because, again, it was several years ago. But yeah, that's really it for the review. Let me go ahead and see if there's any questions, comments in the live chat. And then also I want to see what the results of the poll were. So the poll was asking, do you ever buy figures just for their alt mode? And let's see here. Ending the poll, 70% of you said no, that you guys really are focused on, or 68% are really focused on not getting Transformers just for their alt mode. Are they not called Lambo doors? I guess you can call them Lambo doors, but I think there are more generic door names for those. Let's see here. Let's see what the Q&A says. Any questions? No questions. I figured as much. This figure is not old, but it's not exactly new, especially with the Prime versus Primes out there. I just you just ordered the new Black Mamba oversized Dinobot. Okay, that's cool. But yeah, I would really, those little panels should tab in underneath the windshield. Those little panels should tab in underneath the windshield. Yeah, mine don't. They kind of, yeah, mine don't really tab in. If they were a little bit longer, like a millimeter longer, I would consider it a tab, but these really don't tab for me. But yeah, that's really it. If you like Hot Rod, I highly recommend this figure instead. It is more money but it is such a nice figure. I would recommend it. It might be hard to find now because it is old as well, but yeah, taking a look side by side. If you like Hot Rod, you like the design, DX9 does a killer job with the movie figures. So I hope they do some releases, whether it's under the DX9 name or some other name, because I think they're kind of defunct now. But I hope they do more of the movie figures, especially from Rise of the Beast. I'm really looking forward to some third-party takes on some of the Rise of the Beast figures, like Cheetor and Primal. But yeah, that's really it. Last check on comments. JJ Prime says, I meant the little panels on the backpack, the ones with the hinges. Oh, so see, that's why I had mentioned before too, but I don't know if that's right. Is that right? Because if you do that, then maybe I missed that in the struggle. Hey, let me just verify here. Yeah, see, I don't think so, because these instructions show it as on behind here. Is there? Yeah, the instructions don't show that, so maybe that's an incorrect thing on the instructions. But at least from here, it makes it look like those are supposed to fold between the windshield. Who knows? Oh, maybe you're right. But then if you do that, how do these windshield tabs that we're talking about that are too short, how do you use them? Because then you get even further away from that. Or are you talking kind of like this? I don't know. From the instructions, it looks like they're folded all the way down. So I don't know. Either way, it's probably not going to make or break your figure the way it looks or anything like that. So if I got that wrong, my apologies. But that's the way it came out of the box for me. So that's the way I'm going to go with it. Seems like the instructions kind of like that. But yeah, that's it for today, everyone. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll be back next week. I do have a bunch of backlog figures. But yeah, as you know, my weekends are basically spent elsewhere right now. So my free time has very, very much been limited. But yeah, that's it for today, everyone. Hope you guys enjoy it. See you next time, 4Lifers.